welcome back to 24/7 Moms Live. I am Trisha and
I'm Steve, and it's so great to be here and start this week out.
it is after a great weekend of celebrating moms, right? Being that most of our audience is moms, I hope that all of you had a great celebration over the weekend.
Mother's Day, it is like the holiest day of the year outside of Easter and Christmas.
Anyways, it was a great day. It was actually a great weekend. On Saturday, I spent the day shopping with one of my daughters, and we just had a great time just shopping, having breakfast and lunch together, and just hanging out all day. And then on Sunday, we started our day off by going to church, and we decided to go to the early service so that we could hit the restaurants early as well.
Which was a good idea, by the way.
So we went and we got to see our friends, the Katina Boys, sing. And
They aren't called the Katina Boys any longer. They're called the Katinas.
Oh, the Katinas.
If you follow Christian music, you would know some of their songs.
Anyways, we got to see them, and they have been friends of ours for, I did not realize, like 30 years now.
Oh, my
And
word.
so it was really fun to see them because they were just young kids, actually, when they first started, and now they're all grown. And between the 5 of the boys, they have 19 children. So it was fun just to catch up with them for a couple minutes. Then we got to go to lunch and have amazing milkshakes, came home, and my daughter and I went and got pedicures and manicures, and it was just a great day.
It was a good day,
relaxing day.
and then our restaurant served, I think, over 800 people.
Yeah, it was a crazy day there.
It was nuts. So we had a whole morning brunch, and then we had a nighttime dinner, and we had about 45 minutes to turn it all around. Wow. So we stripped down the buffet, and I went there in the afternoon just to help them in the transition, and man, you wouldn't believe all the food on the floor. I mean, the buffet, there was like, because, people bring kids and things like that, and you're so busy. So we went a massive all citywide restaurant cleanup. It seemed like that. And
chaos.
It was chaos, but by the time I left, the whole place was packed again with dinner and moms.
That's awesome. So it was a fun day, but there were some chaotic moments, obviously, and over at our restaurant, I personally wasn't there. I stayed home and hung out with my kids, but the chaos was real, and when we talk about chaos, we want to talk today a little bit about chaos.
Yes, the chaos is real, and but we want you to know that's part of the good things of life.
Isn't that crazy to think?
It is crazy to think.
Super crazy.
Diapers and late nights, spilt milk, fights with your husband because you're just so frazzled.
What?
Well, it happens.
Really? Maybe it's because he doesn't do what he should be doing.
See, that stuff like that.
Why are you Nancy or anything?
I know. But chaos can happen, and it's okay. So that's what we're here to tell you today. Chaos is okay in your family. So get this. And I told my wife about this. I said, we should talk about this. They did a unscientific, let me just say that. It's actually a gal named Lydia Sohn down in Southern California who happens to be a Methodist minister. Also quite a smart girl, has a Doctor of Divinity from Yale. But she just does some really great exposés and essays. And she interviewed several, I don't know how many, but several of the people in her congregation. And she comes from an old church. I mean, it's big, but it's old. So she interviewed the 90 to 96-year-olds about what were the things in their life that they remembered the best and when were they the happiest. And there's this study, this scientific study out there that happiness is like a bell curve. That when you're in your 20s, you're really, really happy because you just think about you, right? You just do your own thing. And then you go into this crazy 20s and 30s where you're having kids and 40s. And then when you get over 50, you go back into a happy factor again. And then but that middle part's supposed to be like, if you're going to be unhappy, science says it should be right in here.
Okay.
These 90 to 96-year-olds said something totally different. They said that the best times of their life that they can think about that puts a smile on their face was when they are in the family with brand new babies and craziness going on and schedules busy and work going nuts. And when they think about that, it puts a smile on their face.
You know, it's funny because people often ask with my 5 kids, what has been your favorite stage? Well, other than the fact that every stage has been my favorite, probably the season in my life that I look back on with that smile and I miss the most was when all 5 were in our home and they were ages 2 and 4, and that would put in like 10. So I had like, you know, toddler, preschooler, elementary, middle schooler, high schooler,
starting high
like
school.
all those stages. That was like my favorite stage of life. I loved our life.
And when you think about
and
that,
it was absolutely incredibly crazy.
it was.
We had, at one point, we even had 5 kids in 5 schools. Can you imagine keeping with, and it wasn't just the 5 schools that was the challenge, it was the 5 schedules of the schools, the 5 different types of school rules, everything was so different for each school, and to keep up with all of those different things was crazy. But man, I loved life. I loved all the activities my kids were in, dance and baseball and soccer and just like all the different activities we had going, and church, and just so many different things we had going, and all the homework and the school projects, and I need this, I need that. But somehow I thrived on that, and I miss that craziness.
I remember coming home from work or wherever I was going, working that day, and it's like I had a full-time job at night as well as day. I mean, okay, ladies, I'm just tell you straight up, guys do not like the store IKEA. All right, you putting that furniture together is okay once in a while, but I've put in so much IKEA furniture, but that's kind of what you live on when you're young like that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very reasonable. They have every piece of furniture to fit every corner, but talk about craziness of setting that stuff up. But at the same time, it was just part of that whole thing.
But that's just the chaos that we're talking about. That brings a smile to my face. That's what I remember.
Right. And so when they interviewed these 9-year-olds, they said that, and this is why they said this was the best part of their life, where they brought a smile to the face, because they felt the most alive.
It's so true.
They felt alive.
You feel effective. You feel like you're doing something.
Right. And that's the beautiful thing, is that I think, this is my personal opinion, I think the human race is the most alive when they're near chaos, that they're bringing organization to it.
But what's weird about it all, I think, is though it's chaotic, and there are so many times where I remember thinking, I don't even know what I'm doing, but we're doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was so chaotic. And yet I often remember, you know, when babies are first born, for a long time, our hospital was giving out the book, what was it called? Like the first year, everything you need to know the first year of their life, right? Why wasn't anyone giving me out the book of everything I need to know the 5th year of life, or the 6th year of life, or the 8th year, or the 12th, or the 13th? It's like, I remember thinking, there's no manual. You were not born, and a manual was not handed with you to tell me how to get through this, and how to create systems to organize my family and keep everybody going, and everything happening, the laundry done, and meals on the table, and everyone at their activities, and the school papers done, and this, and that. You know, there's just so many things. But somehow we did it. And
I know.
We don't know how.
Hey, so let us just give you 3 easy steps. We already started talking about the first one.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. This is a nice segue. And that life is chaos, and it's okay. It can be some of the craziest parts of your life. It just be willing to accept the crazy. And what we used to say? You used to say, I'm living in crazy, or I remember we used to tell our kids. I said, forget that.
I do remember it, something about the chaos.
No, well, say you drive me crazy or something. Anyway, but the point is, it's okay to have the chaos, embrace it, accept it, and just work through it. I mean, as husband and wife, these are some of the times that you can really come together and work together. And you husbands out there, just be willing to just dig in there. I mean, I remember that my job every night, this is just our family, when the baby would cry, it was my job to go get the baby from the crib, bring him to the changing table, change the diaper, hand him to the milk wagon, and then the milk wagon would feed the baby and then put it back to bed. And I mean, I could have said, "Oh, I'm too tired" or whatever, but somebody had to get up, right?
Right.
And I figured, well, maybe this is the part that I could do.
I don't even know that it was ever like a special agreement. We just started doing that with our firstborn.
Yeah.
We just started doing that, and then that just became our habit of with each child that was born that Steve did that.
Yeah, I got up every single night, sometimes 2 nights when they were brand new. But we had the system down. We kind of were able to get some organizing
Yeah.
into chaos. And so that's our first point, is that embrace the chaos. It's okay, and it may put a smile on your face. Go ahead.
Well, I think that when it becomes so challenging, right? But when we have challenges in our life, we also find solutions for those challenges. And I think for me, that was probably part of why I like the chaos, because then I can find ways to create systems and schedules, and I can bring some sort of calmness to the chaos. And so I think for me, I like that challenge. I think that's kind of an interesting thought when I think, why do I like when things are chaotic? Because it's like a game of like, how can I now create this not to be so chaotic in our family?
See, now my personal belief is that's part of the mad science, the way kind of God created us, is that, think about it. We kind of started from chaos, and we brought this organization together, and there is a feeling of satisfaction when you organize.
But you're also growing in that time, right?
Right.
Like you're growing as a parent, you're growing as a human, you're growing
You're
in your so
learning.
many skills. I always say that motherhood is like the best training ground for so many future jobs, because we just learn so many things raising our kids. And so that whole chaos, I don't know. There's this, it's not like we're saying, oh, you should live in chaos. What we're saying is, Kate, you're going to look back on these years and you're going to smile about it. You're going to smile about the craziness that it was. And there are moments in it you're like, I just went out of this. Like, life has got to get better than this. But you actually will. I mean, we missed the chaos.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that our life is perfect now, because there are very many chaotic days still with children at home. But it's not like it was when all 5 were at home.
Right. And you know, they did this. I just read this article, really interesting, on the Wall Street Journal, where they're talking about the young millennials in their 20s. And the big thing for the past 10 years is, hey, you're going to go into an entry-level job. We're going to like have you, you know, get the lattes for everybody in the morning. And, you know, we're just going to kind of bring you along. Industry is getting so busy right now that they're basically going to these young millennials, say, okay, I need that presentation ordered tomorrow and done and ready to present to our table. And it's their first day of work. It's like they're basically, the word on the street to young graduates right now is that when you go into job, you step up right away.
Wow.
And you either sink or swim. And it's kind of like it was, you know, when I read about, you know, my dad from the olden days. So anyway, embrace the chaos. And here's number 2, all right? And this is a good point. It's never as bad as it seems. You're right? You could be in the middle of the trenches, and it can see it. Now, I agree. There are some things that can be really bad. I mean, you know, life has ups and downs.
Right.
But take the good and the bad, and just recognize what you're going through. Hundreds of thousands of moms have done, and
you
dads,
survive it. That's the crazy thing. You actually will survive it.
You'll survive it, and if you can, write some of those funny moments down. Take lots of pictures. I mean, you do all this stuff. But what we're just saying is that we know, and you may think you're just going through deep, dark tunnels, but we want you to know. You reach out. Do whatever you need to do to figure out your answers, but it's never as bad as it seems. And you'll look back one day and you'll go, wow, wasn't that nuts? Anyway.
So very true.
Okay, and this is the secret that nobody tells you. This is point 3. The secret that everyone holds and nobody tells you.
Are you ready?
Okay, here it is.
Super impactful.
All right. Everyone is making it up as they go along. Can you believe that? I mean, think about this. Your parents at night go to bed and they think, am I doing it right? You know, Jeff Bezos of Amazon, all right? Mr. Billionaire, even after his divorce. He has $100 billion even after his divorce he just had. Can you believe that? But Jeff Bezos tonight, he probably lays down on his bed. He doesn't think, wow, aren't these 900 cotton thread sheets the bomb? No, he probably thinks, did I do that decision right today? Did I work it out? I mean,
we all question ourselves.
I mean, Oprah questions herself, right? Martha Stewart, do you think she questioned herself when she got in all those weird stock? You know, she went to prison for a while. I mean, so here's the point. Yeah. So the point is that nobody knows everything, and we're all making it up as we go along, and it's okay. So, you know, that's just a great point for us to just to recognize.
I think sometimes we forget that we're all on the same journey, right? I mean, I know there's different parts of our journey that are different from each other, but we're all moving forward in life with chaos, with craziness, with ups and downs. And we don't have all the answers. And we look around and we think, especially when you go on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, you think everyone else has it together but you, right? You think, oh, I'm going to be a Pinterest mom just like everybody else. And like my friend Ashley said yesterday, but no, we're the Amazon Prime moms. And I'm right there with her. Yeah, that Pinterest looks really great, but I think I'll just order it off Amazon. It's a lot easier. And you go into motherhood thinking it's going to be one way, and it turns out to be completely different. And then you're like, wait a minute, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, am I making the right decisions for my kids? Am I doing the right thing? Oh, look, that person did this. Oh, that person. Oh, look how their kids turned out. You know. And the truth of the matter is, we all have stuff we're going through, and it's hard, and we don't know what we're doing. But as we move forward and we invest in our kids, and we invest in learning from others and reading books and seeking God and all those things, we're able to do it.
That's right.
You know, and I think we just have to remember, everybody has the anxieties. Everybody is wondering if they're doing it right.
Right. So the secret's out. The person you think's so cool, they're not sure what they're doing either. You know, like I remember, you know, how we used to wash our kids when they were little babies. I mean, they've got so many manuals on how to wash your kid, right? I would take our children when they were infants, I would hold them in the shower and I would scrub them almost like they were a little sack of potatoes. And I would put their head underneath the water and scrub them up. And I used to think one time, am I doing this right?
Or are we ruining them? Like, are they going to be psychologically off because we've totally scrubbed them in the shower and threw them underwater?
You know, here is a side benefit is that they never were afraid of putting water on their heads.
They became swimmers quite easily.
And it was just a byproduct. But they would sit in the shower with the water just drenching down their head, and they could care less. They thought it was great. As a matter of fact, I had to kick them out because Savannah had to do a tea party every day.
In the shower.
Yeah, with all the fruits of the world. That was her favorite tea. But anyway.
But it's true. We do wonder, are we doing it right? Am I bathing my child right? Are we putting them in the bed right? Are we making the right decisions for their school? You know, should they go to preschool? Should they not go to preschool? Do we potty train at 1? Do we potty train at 2? I mean, all these things that are going through our head, and we get so worked up and worried that everyone is thinking that we're not the best mom, we're not the best dad, we're not the right parents, we're not making the right decisions for our kids. Oh, you let your kids stay up late. Oh, you let your kids watch the show. There's all these things, you know. And yesterday, my friend Ashley, she made a comment, and she said, when she found out she was pregnant and she told her mother-in-law, who actually happens to be a great mentor of mine, she told her mother-in-law she was pregnant. Her mother-in-law her response was, well, welcome to never, what was it?
Feeling not guilty.
Oh, feeling not guilty again in your life. Welcome to never not feeling guilty again in your life. And I thought, that's so true. We walk around with this mom guilt in chaos, right? Always feeling like we're not enough, that we're not doing a good enough job, that everybody else is better than us, when really, when you get right down to it, we all have chaos. We all are wondering how to do this, and are we doing it right? So we need to instead embrace each other in this season of motherhood, in this journey of life together, is embrace each other and realize, hey, we're all walking through different things.
So, ladies and husbands, dads, it's okay. All right? The secret's out. You're just learning as you go along. The conclusion is just don't be afraid of the chaos. Embrace it. All right? You can do this. It's never as bad as it seems, most cases.
Right.
All right? There are extremes, but most cases, all right? And the secret's out. Everyone is just making it up as they go along. And what your friend down the road does may not be the way you do it, and that's okay.
Right.
All right? Well, that's all I got today.
That's great. So embrace the chaos, enjoy these seasons. Yes, they change and they do have different components to them, but embrace each season with your kids. Make every moment count as a mom, as a dad, as parents. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care.
Bye.